All right. So I'm going to get you guys rolling back on routine. Got off a couple times through the holidays, but need to get some more content back out to you guys. So what I wanted to hit on is, and you hear me talk about this and post on this, and I've experienced this uh, throughout my business career, and this could be in a lot of different areas of life, but it's maintaining your momentum. It's one of those things when you get into momentum or get momentum, you don't want to lose it. So, uh, what we're going to hit on is maintaining the momentum, how to stack wins, reinforcing it, who you're becoming. So, let's get you rocking and rolling here. So, what happens why most of us lose momentum? Because this has happened to me before, you know, uh, specifically in business. And man, it's hard to get it back, and it seems like it takes twice the effort to get the ball rolling back up the hill again, or the boulder, I should say. You keep pushing, 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 pushing. You know, each day, wash, rinse, repeat, making sure you're hitting your task that you need to be hitting to move that boulder up. So there's some non-negotiables in there. There's some tasks that you have to do regardless. Is it fun? Maybe not. Can it be more exciting? Yes. It is what you make of it. But what I see, is individuals lose momentum and then they just never can get it back. And trust me, I just been through this cycle, and it's taken us, a whole year to kind of reinvent ourselves and get momentum back into our business, and we've got the ball rolling. So now it's head down and continue to do the things you need to do to move forward. So it's typically not a lack of knowledge. It's broken feedback loops and or programs that are running is why I see guys lose momentum. The effort feels disconnected from results, and that could happen sometimes where you feel like you're putting all this effort in and not seeing the results. Well, sometimes you have to have a little patience and continue to do those things to make sure that everything's moving forward. So momentum is a psychological first, right? Oh, you see the win or you see the scale move, or make the workout, you have a feeling. So so it's physiological first, right? So and you can have different things that you quote unquote would pin momentum to, right? So momentum is actually a byproduct. You don't chase momentum. You earn it through kept promises, those small actions that maybe nobody are paying attention to, or obviously some people are. Maybe the ones closest to you are going to notice the things you're doing are going to be different. Uh, but it's also from an unconscious standpoint, it's is holding yourself accountable, keeping that promise, knowing the vision of where you're going, what it looks like, who you are, and how you act and respond. So self-trust creates momentum, but you have to have the action steps in place and consistently do the things that are going to move or get the momentum move in the right direction for you. So the wins are the behaviors, not the outcomes. Like, okay, when you have a win, what was the behavior to get that win? Sometimes, I'm going to do the quotes again. Uh, they say, "Oh, he's lucky." Can you have that? Maybe, but it's typically the preparation and all the work that nobody sees you doing is what creates the opportunity, and then they call it luck, right? Um, Training when you're tired, eating aligned under stress, going to bed early, disconnecting from social media. You know, what are the wins? What do they look like? And then there's the stacking principle because you got, building that energy and focus and feelings around where you're going. The momentum is really, the stacking principle helps. And I coach this a lot with nutrition because you got to stack. You got to have 5 days. You got to have 7 days. You got to have 14 days stacked. When you stack those days, you're going to start seeing the fruits of the labor. But in the first 5, 7, 14, you're like, oh man, I'm doing all this work and nothing's changing. Then all of a sudden, bam, things are changing. It's just so minute. You may not see it quite yet. And then wins must be repeatable. What I'm saying there is what are the non-negotiables built in there that are going to move that boulder. Uh, and you want to make it, personal, associated to you and where you're going and what does it look like. And that goes all back to planning, guys. Uh, and you've heard me talk a lot about this. Your standards of how you operate are going to beat your motivation because you do them regardless of how you feel. You can kind of push the feelings to the side and execute the task because the motivation will come when you have a lot of wins and you feel the momentum, and then you'll like, okay, I got this, and you'll double down on it. So standards, what your standards are going to remove your decision fatigue. They're going to move that the person standing on your shoulder saying you can't do it. Uh, and if your standards are higher than that, you don't listen to that individual. Operate like you do in the business or at your job, or maybe you can think of a time that you were operating at a high standard, a high level. Take yourself back to that. What was you doing differently? How was you showing up? What environment was you putting yourself into? So maybe you have to do some self-reflection to reevaluate. Have you fallen off the direction you need to be on to hit the desired result or goal you want? Sometimes that happens. We have to take some time to really look in the mirror and say, you know, is it me? Most likely we can't point at other people, but it's your decision to be in the current environment you're in. So you don't, shrink the target, right? So lower the bar, increase the frequency, win today, not someday. I would say don't, what you want to focus on, because a lot of things can be done in a short amount of time. And there's a lot of talk about time's not linear because you can get opportunities that changes everything. Uh, you know, from a fitness and health standpoint, building the foundation, yes, there is a process and time, but then you may get an opportunity that it shows itself because you're doing XYZ, or you think of something that changes everything. So uh, you don't well, shrinking a target may be a little bit unfamiliar language. So you want to have focus, I should say, and be very clear where you're going. If you have a big target, go after that big target, that big goal, I should say. When we talk about lower the bar, you don't want to negate your standards. Okay. You don't want to get rid of them. You want to continue to hold your standards. I think I should have reframed some of this and said, get a little bit more clear and granular with what you want and then pull back. Okay. And see the big target, the big picture. Sometimes you have to get very, very small and focused on and detailed, and then pull back. What I'm saying, pull back is step back and see it from a different lens and a different view. So increase the frequency, win today, not someday. Those language patterns, you have to find the wins in each day. You got to, and you guys, I've talked about feedback loops a lot because they're important. Action is going to create evidence. Evidence builds identity. Identity drives consistency. If you're able to easily do the foundational components, it's going to give you feedback. You're either getting closer to the ultimate goal, or you're going further away, or you could be stuck and not moving either way, which is not a good place either. You either want to be going towards something, preferably what you desire, because many times what I see with individuals and individuals I've coached is all they do is get away from the pain far enough that their motivation falls off. That's not necessarily a good place to be. So identity drives consistency. It's going to allow you to show up on a consistent basis because that's who you are. Never miss twice. Stop restarting on Monday. One slip does not erase momentum, but you have to be aware of the actions and intentions because those uh, that's all feedback, and you got to be hyper aware of what you're doing uh, to make sure that your misses don't compound because you need course correction. Specifically, you're in the early phases of this, or if you find yourself loop a lot, you got to protect your momentum. Avoid all or nothing thinking because it doesn't have to be this way or that way. It could be a win-win. You can still go and spend time with your family and take care of yourself. That's just an example. You can still be a high performer in business and take care of yourself. So it shouldn't be a compromise. It's just changing language patterns and identifying the things that are going to allow you to do be successful in both areas. So simplify under stress, control your central nervous system, get really good at controlling your central nervous system and your emotional response. I still work on that all the time. And, it's one of those things we always want to work on. I've talked about this too in different strategies and things you can put in place for your daily win audit. What did I do well today? Where did I keep my word and where I said I was going to show up to my calendar or myself or my family business, whatever, whatever that looks like. What will I repeat tomorrow to make this look successful? And I talk about this a lot too, is momentum lives in the boring. Normal days matter most. Boring days matter most. Consistency beats intensity because you can go real hard one day or real hard one week, but can you do it for multiple weeks and continue moving in the right direction? So the basics done exceptionally well, repeat it over and over and over and over and over, and you will move forward. Now, you do have to do some deeper evaluation because if things are not moving fast enough and or if things can be more efficient, you do want to do evaluation on that. That's why, self-evaluation, weekly, daily, monthly, quarterly is all important. It's feedback. So the final challenge for you guys, if you haven't got momentum, some of you do. I got several guys that have been kicking ass and taking names. Um, you know, they've mastered these foundational components and moved the needle. Now it's like, okay, let's get a little hyper focused on what's the next steps look like for me. Is it more muscle mass, percentage body fat? What does that look like? Because once you master it and get the foundational ball rolling, get the initial wins and get closer to your initial goal you set with me, then it's like, okay, what else I want? So what you want to do is choose one non-negotiable tomorrow, make it small, or make it, a thing that it's not a big distraction right now. Because again, we got to start somewhere. If we're stuck right now, we got to start with the small things and keep stacking and building. So you want to stack the wins. What does the win for one day look like for you? So choose that non-negotiable. Is it the workouts? Okay, you got that mastered. You're consistently working out. Now we got to work on the nutrition. We got that mastered. Okay, workouts, nutrition. Okay, now we go to stress management. How we do with that? Boom. Now we go to sleep. Boom. Okay, simple as that. Is it? It can be. So pick a non-negotiable specifically of where you're at currently, or we may do want to do some reevaluation goal setting for you, and then we may change some of the things, and then we'll have a better plan for, hey, what's the new non-negotiable for you, and what does that look like? And it may not be small, it may be a lot bigger. So, and you want to stack the wins and keep the momentum because creating momentum and maintaining momentum is a skill. Just like anything else, you have to work at it. Sometimes it's very boring, but from a person who's had momentum and a person who's lost momentum, many times once you get it, you never want to take your eyes off the prize. You want to keep it going. So, guys, keep your momentum. let's set the non-negotiables. Let's keep that ball rolling. You know, keep kicking ass and taking names. Hit me up if you guys need a coaching call. I have some of you scheduled this week. So it's January. It's a new year. What are you doing? How you showing up? So I'll talk to you guys soon.